Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining us here on the Saturday Night Pregame. My man, Chris McGraw, being real polite today. I love it. Throwing no speaking. We just want to say thank you again for repeat listeners, all our fans out there. Can't thank you enough for joining us again. It's been a lot of fun. If you're a first-time listener, we appreciate it. If you guys want to subscribe to iTunes, Podbean, that would help us out a lot. That'd be great. Quick advertisement. We do have some merch now. We got a couple shirts. If you would like, hit us up at the snppodcast@gmail.com.
Can they view these shirts?
Yeah, it's on Instagram. Oh, yeah. It's on the line, baby. On the line. So
Speaking of shirts, you guys I haven't seen these before.
Oh, these are new,
I'm
baby.
assuming these are
these fancy DePaul sweaters. Retro sweaters.
They look nice.
With the DePaul demon
sitting on the basket.
Pooping on the basket.
Pooping on the basket.
I have one as well, but I wouldn't get the memo that it was wearing your Paul sweater tonight.
Yep.
Do you have the exact same one?
Yes.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Did these just come out, for this season?
They went, Mr. Anderson let us know that they had thrown some retro gear out online, going back to time. So we,
when DePaul was actually something to watch.
Yeah.
Did Mr. Anderson like his?
He did, yes. He said we were too nice to him. He's like, you guys are way too nice to me, blah, 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 like that.
He'll never wear it. But
maybe he's afraid of ruining it.
Joe, if you want, you can go on to DePaul's bookstore website and get it. And you can get it probably 50% off, unlike our jabroni ass.
Yeah, we got ours at full price. Yeah. DePaul the next day.
Well, next time DePaul calls me and asks me for money, I'm just going to be like, I already bought a full price sweater.
Isn't it the best? That's the best call.
They've stopped doing those calls. They just send emails now.
Yeah.
No, they call me all the time.
Oh yeah?
They probably don't have your email
Did
then.
you ever give?
No.
Oh.
I'm not even kidding you. I remember it was the week after we walked for graduation. I immediately got a call to get on the alumni list and donate. And I was like, you have $100,000 in mine. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I haven't even found a job yet. Like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, how does this make? And I literally I didn't go at the lady.
If that could be turned into a meme, I just picture the 300. Like you're like, this is madness. You're like, and they're like, this is DePaul, and then they kick you in the chest and take your money.
No, but see, I was just like, lady. I mean, I'm like, I know it's not your fault. This is just your job. But we're gonna have this conversation.
I don't even have a job yet.
Yeah,
I just graduated.
Who gave you my information? Like, how did this work?
So they said the one I was like, they had for to help students who've been affected by whatever this and that. I'm like, well, I'm affected too. Like, can I take it too, please? What's my donation? Can I get on this list to get this money?
Yeah, seriously. No, it's ridiculous. Also, I mean, I this is another grind mic here, but.
Oh, Chaps' rear moment.
But no one really understands why colleges are so expensive. They're so expensive because the government, because back in the day, not everybody could go to college.
Yep.
You had to be able to pay for it. Then the government, which is a good thing because it's good and bad. They tried to get everybody the opportunity to go to college if they wanted to go to college. Okay. But that means they guaranteed all loans for any student who wanted to go to college.
Okay.
Schools aren't stupid. They realize that means they can charge whatever they want.
Oh, hey, now the barrier's low.
Yeah.
And the government's on the hook.
Let's make our money.
Well, no, the government's not on the hook, but they'll guarantee it. But you're on the hook and you can't get out of it. Yeah. So the schools are like, jack up the prices. And then how they showed, because they're nonprofits, how they showed that, hey, they just built these huge administrative systems and then these huge salaries, and these bonuses, and they're giving these colleges and all this. And it's all not-for-profit. So none of them, the schools don't pay property taxes, all this shenanigans. And it all is, again, on the backs of middle class and the poor.
Look at the endowment funds these college have.
Yeah, that's where I'm sorry. And that's where I get to is, you look at Harvard, they have they have billions. I think they're hundreds of billions maybe not that much, but they have an insane amount of money that they could give school free to students for the next 100 years.
So, quick question, because you always hear about endowments.
Mm-hmm.
Those are basically, I mean, for the most part, you hear, usually it's a family who gives a very large sum of money, and it's basically, is it an investment portfolio that they then grow and use to go for years and years and years?
Yeah, and what their whole, I think the thing is
invest that money
yes.
so that it just goes on forever.
So when they actually reform student tuitions and the college system, then they'll have the money that if they need to, but it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even like DePaul owns, they own
downtown.
They own like a block, like 2 or 3 blocks in Metro Chicago.
Yeah, like downtown.
They own all the stuff
like
around
Lincoln
the
Park
it's
area.
insane.
They have 2 different parts of Chicago. They have
the Loop.
They've got the Loop where they've got 3 blocks.
Yep.
That are, or maybe 2.
They got
Two blocks?
they got like
They have
2.
three-
They
they
got
have
2
three
buildings.
blocks.
They got 2 buildings.
But they own, but
No, they
own,
have 3, don't they?
They own
have the
3.
Do they own
they
the
have
one
the
across
they have
street
the
from
they have the
Wabash?
one on State and Jackson, the main building, and then the Lewis Center.
Yep.
They own
Then
the
they
one
own
kitty
one-
corner.
kitty
That's
corner,
the computer science, and then
Yep.
I think they bought the building across the
They
street
did,
where
yeah.
Chamberlain Nurse.
I didn't know they own the other one.
So they own like
The kitty
those
corner
3 to
right
make
there,
it
right
healthy.
and I think they own like the old Walgreens. I think they own that.
I
building.
think they
No, that's
that's
John
John Marshall now.
Okay,
That's-
but all I'm saying is, and they bought all this property down there. They couldn't they have used this money to get kids into school? So then kids don't walk out with $100,000 in debt. No, it's like they don't like once you get there, they don't care what happens with the student
No,
loans. It's
hey,
like, hey, and they provide
gave
you
you your
after
thing.
services that help you try to get jobs and stuff like that. But it's like, you know, if you really cared about the student, you wouldn't have them walk away with the biggest financial decision they're making at 18 years old.
Oh, I know. It's so
Yeah.
hard.
But so again, and then now that just gets us into the March Madness and how much we all love it. It's been a blast.
I don't love it.
Well, you're
Pat
getting
Lynch is just getting
at the moment.
destroyed.
Pat Lynch is
I was tied for
last. We have. I just want to welcome the 7 fans that joined. That's awesome, and I hope one of you guys wins so we can get you a nice prize tag.
My South bracket is a dumpster.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, I think I only have 2 teams or so.
That was a great gift in that message. Like it was in the chat.
Oh yeah. Where it's
Like my South bracket, and it's just
Yes.
a dude with a blowtorch, like burning everything down.
But I want to say Ohio, you can kiss my butt.
That's a real upset.
Me-
Yeah.
Purdue,
Currently
Purdue can kiss
me-
my butt.
Currently, me, Chris, and Scott N are tied for last.
Yes. Is that Chris as in Chris or Chris as in Big Mike?
Chris, Big Mike, the champion.
No,
Yeah,
Big
Mike's
Mike's in
in
last. I'm not.
Okay, so this is going to be a great.
Hold on. Did you hear
Go ahead,
about the
I'm
kid in
Yeah.
from Ohio State that got 2 messages? They
Oh,
they
no.
were threatening to
Come
kill him
on.
and like
Did you see?
not to show up back at Ohio State for over a basketball
Did
game.
you see
People
whatever
think
else
this-
happened? Like that VCU is forfeiting.
Yes,
Yeah.
we saw that on the way down.
Guess who
there.
also picked VCU to win?
I'm pretty sure I had VCU to win too. But okay, so
Not that I knew that ahead of time or had any
Pat-
reason why they would win. But
Pat Lynch,
So-
you should
so
be on
funny
ESPN
story.
with how you pick these games.
So funny story about the pick'ems. Everybody's like nervous about being last. There's no chance Lauren is not last. So we're at Carol's Pub, who's now a follower on Instagram of ours.
That's
Tell-
awesome.
Tell us that you wrote in Illinois State as her champion.
No,
I think I didn't want to
no,
mind.
Illinois, but not
Illinois State,
State,
of course,
yeah.
you went to college.
No, she, so we're talking about the pick'ems, and I looked at her, so I'm like, Lauren, you did not do this. She picked, Gonzaga to lose in the first round. And I'm like, Lauren, what are you doing? She's like, I thought you were trying to trick me. I was like, there's no school called Gonzales. And I'm like, Lauren, what are we doing?
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm dying laughing. I'm like, oh, and she's got Kansas, and Kansas was losing at half. I'm like, she's done.
so you're saying I got a chance now if you last.
Oh, you definitely have a chance. If Gonzaga loses,
If Gonzalez
Well, I'm in deep trouble.
Everybody's in trouble in the brackets.
They're my champions, so they're big trouble.
Except for Lauren there.
I was dying. I was like, Lauren, you are, and I'm like, how did you pick the team? She's like, oh, if I knew him, I'd pick them. And she's like, well, I picked Michigan State to win a couple because I like,
How don't you know who North Folk State was?
well, she's like, Gonzales is not a real college. I'm like, no, Lauren, it's 1 versus 16. Like, call me with some questions, man. Oh, she's,
it's not a real school. It's on the bracket, but it's not a real school.
He's a tricky one. I know he is.
You're editing it to put that in there to mess with me.
I joined 2 brackets, and the first one I did, I used the Yahoo bracket picker.
Which one you go with? Party school, smart schools?
I think I went with Coach's Choice or something. It was a weird decision. I don't know, but it ended up basically putting the number 16 and the number 15 ranked in the top at the to the very end.
Well, Joe, you're in the middle of the pack right now, so you're okay.
So I picked it, and I was like, okay. And then I went to go pick a new bracket. because I was like, okay, this is clearly not the one. But then I picked like fan favorites or, the average choice. And it didn't change anything, but I didn't realize that. So I was like, you have to clear your choices. You
gotta clear the bracket first.
I sent this in, and the person that I just basically took a screenshot because this is the one that we're doing for this podcast, but I used it to make my choice. Yo, sit your fat ass down, dude.
He's all good.
He's just like, that's my dog. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Oppo's a cutie pie. Huge puppy.
But I sent it to the guy, and the guy goes, I think there's something wrong with your bracket. Like, I'm not getting the image across. It looks like you picked like these two teams.
It looks like you picked Norfolk State with a 16 seed.
Yeah, basically. I think it was Norfolk and Colgate in the bracket. And
Joe definitely went with the choice of like there's like an option I think, and it's like the smart schools.
I think that's what it was. And I legitimately thought, I was like, oh, that's the smart choice. And then I realized, oh no, these are the intelligent people. These are not the good people in basketball.
How much was that bracket?
It was just like a fun one, just amongst friends, so it didn't cost anything. But he's like, he was so polite. He's like, I think there's something wrong. It didn't come across. It looks like you picked these guys. No one would pick these guys. And I was like, oh yeah. Does this one look better? And he goes, oh yeah, that looks a lot better. And so it's like Illinois and like someone else or something.
And Gonzalez.
Mm-hmm.
Gonzalez. That
might have been it. Yeah, Gonzaga and Illinois.
Is Gonzalez in the U.S.?
I don't know.
But
that mid-major team.
That's another. I mean, it's just fun. I honestly, so when I was doing the tournament or like the actual bracket, I was like, what am I doing? Like, I don't know anything about college, and it's like, all right, I'm just kind of pretty much picking chalk.
So that's something I wanted to ask, as someone who doesn't know much about this.
How to do pipe.
Anybody does, not in this group.
I don't follow
the March Madness brackets are so crazy with some upsets that occur.
Yep.
Is that always every? What's that? Oh yeah, I chopped that thing in half. Like it was a whole moose, and then he just shredded it. So I'm like, let him keep destroying it.
But yeah, you were saying.
It seems like last year was the school that like upset everything, right? Was that last year? Or
was that 2 years ago?
Loyola, yeah. And they were not expected to make it
to the Final Four. No, absolutely not. They were a Cinderella team.
So all Sister Jean's.
They didn't beat a 1 seed, did they? They were in a play-in.
They had to if they had.
I'm trying to think because they were an 11 seed.
So they probably beat a 2
seed. And the 11 seed would have been. They would have beat a 2 seed.
Yeah.
And it depends. They could have been a 1 seed, but depends on if the 1 seed made it down there.
But I was thinking they were at 16-1. No. Because that's only happened once.
No, that was the Virginia one that lost to
that was like
RMBC.
That was the same year. Maybe the same bracket there.
I don't think so. I think it was a couple years before that. But yeah, it's just, again, I think you have to be a true college basketball fan to have any idea.
Really
well, here's what I did. I picked 4 different experts, and I picked a bracket of each of theirs and did that. So whoever has that South bracket is really not having a good week either.
Oh, there you go. That's a good idea. That's not a bad idea. I literally went chalk. I was just like, and then if I kind of thought like for like Syracuse, like I know they have a good coach, and they've had some weird stuff going on with COVID. So I was like, okay, they'll make it a little bit farther. Kansas, I think they'll make it a little bit farther.
I think a huge upset.
Purdue
that was that bracket that Loyola won. It was a 9 versus 11 in the Elite Eight. They beat Kansas State.
Okay,
I mean, like a huge upset in just this last week was Mizzo, right?
This week, Mizzo.
Missouri.
Missouri's playing right now.
Oh no, is it
Purdue lost.
Who's the coach that always yelled? Like he fought his player basically. Like he yelled at his player during the game this week. Detroit. Michigan. It's Michigan. Sorry, Michigan.
Michigan State or Michigan?
Oh,
yes, the coach who fought the coach.
The coach who fought his player. Like he was berating him on the court. I thought it was maybe I misread this article, but there was a basketball coach that was like yelling. They were up 11 at half.
Okay.
And then they ended up losing, and they were expected to go farther, but everybody's now giving the coach shit.
I have no idea, Chris.
No clue.
It had to have been a side tournament. No, not.
It was to decide to get into the tournament.
Okay.
I think.
They're not doing the NIT, are they?
They are doing the NIT, but that started like the same day.
DePaul didn't make the NIT either?
They didn't. I'm sure they didn't want to be in it. Well, no, they had a really crap season.
Yeah, they won like 4 games.
Yeah.
That should be good enough to get me out of here, right?
Garbage team.
Tom Izzo.
Oh, so Michigan State?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe they lost to UCLA the other night.
Oh,
They
yeah?
were up pretty big when
They
I
were
went to
up
bed.
at half. They were up at 11 at half. And then he, got into a fight, I think with his own player. Fight with Gabe Brown for Michigan State's basketball loss to UCLA. And I think they were expected to go at least somewhat far into the bracket or, make some progress. But he's known to just, almost Bobby Knight his players.
Bobby Knight was a beast. That's hilarious.
I love in Parks and Rec when they have Ron Swanson's doing he's doing coaching basketball and he turns into like a Bobby Knight.
Oh yeah, throw
the chairs stuff.
Throw the chair, yeah.
Because Tom is it's like that he's sitting his ex-wife.
Oh yeah.
I've never. I just could not get into that show. Who was I watching it?
You gotta get past the first season.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better.
That's actually, I think, I just watched the first season. I just couldn't do it. Actually, that reminds me of Seinfeld, and Seinfeld reminds me of Curb Your
I
Enthusiasm.
don't like Kirby. I couldn't get into that one.
You know what's tough about Curb is,
it's constantly cringe.
yes,
Yeah.
and I can't. I'm not a cringe guy.
I get uncomfortable in that.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't want to watch this. I can easily see myself in that situation, and then
Oh yeah.
I just want to shut down and be
Try,
like,
but
abort.
I just couldn't get into it.
That's what I feel about The Office. Like Michael Scott's character.
Well,
in there, it's just cringe.
they almost canceled that show first because of that, and then they mellowed him out in future seasons.
I've watched other episodes later on, and
he's not. If you're watching the British version, that guy's way cringy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That one's like
with Ricky Gervais.
Did you guys happen to watch Long Shot?
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
But I thought the best part of Long Shot was Larry David.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was hilarious that he was like, oh yeah, I use it on dates. So to give you guys an indication of what we're talking about is Joe was like, hey, you guys got to watch Long Shot. And
It's a nice 40-minute documentary.
Yes.
It's not long,
it's
which
so
is
nice.
so
Yeah.
great.
Because you're used to at least 2 or
These
3
long
episodes.
form, some 6-hour
Yeah.
things.
And so it's on Netflix, and it's about this poor individual who did have kind of a record and has a brother who's in a gang, and unfortunately was arrested for murder. And this guy turned his life around. You don't get a whole lot into his life, but he turned his life around, and he had happened to go to his brother's murder trial, and this individual
one does.
Yeah, one go, try to support, figure out what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, one of the ladies who was testifying got murdered.
Yep.
And the LAPD detectives pinned it on him because of a sketch.
That night, so she came to testify. Couldn't really.
Yeah, didn't give any real specifics.
Didn't get specific with anything, and then I think it was that night she was shot and killed in front of her home.
I think
I thought she testified on May 1st, and then she was killed maybe 10 days later.
Oh,
Yeah,
maybe it was. Yeah,
That's
it
what I thought.
It wasn't long after her eyewitness testimony.
So the guy, I think his name's Javier.
Juan.
Yeah, I think so.
Juan got his mom. Then this is a gift. These are gifts I do all the time. Is you get somebody a gift that you know they're not going to use, so you can use it. Got his mom LA Dodger tickets. And she's like, oh, I can't. She didn't want to go. So his daughter, and 2 friends went to the game. And on that night, the individual that testified at his brother's murder got gunned down in the streets. Yep. And she was with a friend, and that friend gave a sketch that looked like Juan. Juan was immediately arrested and put in jail. No bail, no nothing. Life upended, sent straight to jail. You could tell, right? I don't know. First thing I said when I watched it, I was like, this guy's innocent. There's and
you could hear in his they played recordings of the interview.
Yeah,
he was ready to break. He's like, dude, you're gonna look at this evidence. You're gonna realize I didn't do this. I really didn't do this. You have
you're
to
gonna feel
understand.
stupid for what you're doing right now.
And they one of the things they brought up in the documentary, they go, why didn't you mention the Dodgers game? He goes, dude, I just got accused of murder. That was my mind was freaking out at that point. I didn't even think about that.
No, 100%. That's and then you got this lady, this prosecutor who they call Sniper because because she's all about killing, like death row.
Death penalty people.
And it's like,
and hasn't lost a case.
Yeah, screw that lady. Like, it's never about the person or the victim. It's always about like their record. And it's like, this is what's wrong with our criminals. This is wrong with our criminals. There were so many things. It should have never went to a judge. Like, they should have seen the LA Dodger stuff and said, okay, no, all right, this guy he was out at a baseball game. So to move it forward is the guy went to the baseball game with his daughter and stuff. He got picked up, and this unbelievable angel of a lawyer was like, no, he's like, he could tell right away. He's like, no, this guy didn't do this. Like, this isn't his character. Like, and immediately went out to figure out. He didn't waste time. He went.
That was one of the things I found so interesting. He's like, this is a lawyer who did literally everything he could to help this guy. Like, he put 110% of his effort. Oh, here's a lead, and just now I'm going to call the stadium like general manager or who
general counsel,
and just bug them, work them. Yeah,
watch a 3-hour game that took him a whole entire day on slow mo just so he could see.
And he even saw his client on that video,
but
it wasn't good enough. Yep.
And there were tickets, and there was all this evidence, and then. But it was all like, it was just so like tough to pinpoint his time. Like, because could you leave the game and then go do something and come back to the game?
Yep.
Well, this was earlier. So I'm not sure.
I think the murder happened at like sometime after 10 p.m. and the game started
at like 5 and went to like the 9th inning, and like Gagne gave up 3 runs.
Yep.
And so like he's like, can you remember? Like, he's working with his client trying to be like, is there anything else? Because the guy had a really good memory. He's like, dude, they were filming something that day. And he's like, okay, so then he went back to the council and they went through the books, and nothing was, like, every May game had nothing but this date.
This one day.
Yep. And it happened to be HBO and Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm.
Larry David's. Okay, so now let's think about how random and just random this had to be.
Astronomical odds.
That it was that Larry David picked this day.
No, that it. Just that right
there.
Just this day where they had cameras in the stadium.
Extra cameras.
Which was rare for that to be
done. And no one ever films at a live game.
Yep.
They always just have a bunch of extras.
Something else they explained was that you could never see cameras anywhere during the game because they didn't want to interrupt the experience for the fans. So all these cameras were set like far away, out of sight. Nothing ever, close up. So
100%.
all the fans had no idea that this was... Some of the fans had no idea that it was going on other than a PA telling them, hey, don't go up and down the aisles. We're trying to shoot something. And so if that's not specific enough, it's the kid. So, Larry David chooses his aisle, his row. Yep.
To film and that seat.
Yep.
So that's insane.
Yep.
Now the kid at that specific moment, his young daughter says, I want ice cream.
Yep.
So he gets up while they're filming, goes and gets ice cream, and he's trying to come back to his seat. And the guy's like, hey, hold up, because Larry David's filming right now.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you know what? Go ahead, walk down. So he's walking down while Larry David's coming up, and they have him and his daughter perfectly on tape.
Crossing like magical.
Yeah. Talk about planets, stars, everything just aligning so that this poor individual does not get screwed by the system.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part of the whole entire episode is where you get that PA and he's like, I must have been a shitty PA for letting this guy walk by.
Oh, yeah.
And then they show him the video footage of Juan walking down the stairs to his seat and Larry David coming back. And you just see like him. He's like, is that him? And he smiles because he knows that allowing him to walk down that at that time saved that guy's life. Yeah. That was like the best part for me. That hits you right in the feels.
Oh, yeah.
Go on, look.
100%. Exactly. Yeah. Or when the daughter's on there talking about the game and children are so innocent and like she's not going to lie, like not knowingly lie. And you can tell her father's crying. And I'm choking up.
Breaks down.
Oh, and I'm choking up too. I'm like trying not to cry. Like it's insane. It's like it's just.
Here's what's even crazier though, right? They have that video. They have him on camera, and they go, "Yeah, but he still could have committed the murder after." So then they had to go into the whole fucking cell phone tower thing and try to prove.
I mean, I'm not saying this, but that's always because like when they zero in on somebody, they get blinders on people.
No, I get it,
and that's the thing.
And
too,
right? they try to make up. They try to fit the facts into their case.
Yeah. No, and I get that, but it's also like disgusting. So then then he brings up that because and here's another thing. He's just lucky enough that his girlfriend, the child's mother, wanted the child home so she could go to school the next day. So she's calling him like, "Hey, is the game over? Hey, is the game over? When is she going to be home? She needs to go to bed."
Yep.
Just happened to call at the end of the game. She's like, "I saw the game ended." And he's like, "Yep, we're on our way. We got some baseball cards."
Just crossed on the expressway or
no, they were just walking.
They were walking out and hit the cell towers across the street, and it's only got a mile radius.
That one, yeah.
So all that information, the judge and the prosecutor still did not want to give up on this guy.
We have a great eyewitness who has no reason to lie that gave a sketch. It's like the judge is like, I'm sure that he's a credible witness, and he's not here to lie. Yeah. But it was dark after a traumatic event, and they're like, somebody brought up the fact that this guy literally saw the shooting and bolted in the his cell phone broke. He dropped his cell phone, broke, and was booking the other way.
Eyewitness notoriously.
No, you're right. Yes, that's another thing I think they're starting to find out is your recollection of an event is
unless
so
you're the person that's that it happened to, you're notoriously unreliable.
I witnessed a shooting once when I was really, really young. We were on Belmont. Where's that big there's that grocery store and then there's that soccer store right across the street.
Oh, he's talking about
Central. Belmont Central, yeah.
So there was a little strip mall right next to that, and if you park in that, we parked there, went into the shop, did something to get it was just like a 7-Eleven-esque type of thing. And then we went across the street to go somewhere. And when we came back, our car was gone. And we're trying to figure out what happened. And one of the guys says, "Hey, your car got towed." So now we have to get and this is long before even cell phones were a thing. I was probably 10 years old. We had to go to wherever it was probably Lincoln Towing,
the good ones that keep getting their license revoked.
Mm-hmm. And so we go there, and we get dropped off a block or two away. The taxi driver's like, "Yeah, it's right here," and we're trying to. He didn't drop us off in front. He dropped us off several blocks away. So we're like, "Where the fuck is this place?" And 10. We get to a corner, we're like, "Oh, there's the towing yard," right? We're finally there. Kitty corner to us, a guy literally robs and shoots down a person right in front of us. I remember my dad literally pushing my mom down, and then my sister, and I remember thinking about this. The only thing I remember is being, this is going to sound so dumb, but being the last in the line, between the action that was occurring across the street and then me, it was my father, my mom, my sister, me. And I just remember, I could see the guy, I remember him having a green, almost Vietnam jacket, but if you were to ask me what this guy looked like, any sort of defining characteristics other than his green jacket, I couldn't tell you anything. That's burned in my memory. But even the gunshot, I was like, what was that? If you're not trained to know, pick up on regular stuff or expecting, something to go down, you're not looking at anything.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean?
And think if you're trying to run away and save your life.
Oh, yeah. And even you guys, if I would have closed my eyes when you guys walked in, you go, what color shirt was Pat wearing? I'm paying attention to your two sweaters. I couldn't have even told you, other than the fact that he was wearing, I didn't even know he was wearing a fucking hat until I really thought about it. You know what I mean? You just don't pick up on that stuff. People don't pay attention to that.
So I just want to get back to that really quickly with the ending of it, Pat. The judge was like, "No, this is, we're not doing this. We're not even gonna put him to trial."
Yeah.
And so he got left free. And he goes home and all he wants is a Coca-Cola because he can't get crap. He was in the worst.
So interesting.
He was in the worst.
He didn't even he got out of the courthouse. Yes. He was like, "I just want a Coke."
Yeah.
That's all I want.
And the worst part of it is he went to the worst part of jail. He saw his wife on the highway.
Maximum security.
With the worst of the worst. And, he was actually, they were transporting him on the highway and he saw his girlfriend driving next to him and she went home and he called later that night.
Oh, yeah. You're talking when he left the game.
But, okay, so after that, they're now just talking about the case, and it was how it really happened was because she was talking, this unfortunate witness was talking against these gang members, and 4 guys shot and killed her. Like, it was a team of 4 people. Mm-hmm. And they went to the detectives, these detectives. One was like, hey, did you provide leading questions to trick this guy? And he was like, yes. Because like, they were
one thing they showed early on is you had, like a paper with 8 people on it. And they had his face circled.
Even though trying to trick him. Yeah. And he's like, that was wrong. And he's like, yeah. So you think these guys got fired? No. One guy got moved to auto traffic something.
Yeah, he just got moved to like a less serious
he got moved to
fraud. Are you kidding me?
Yep.
That is asinine. This guy could have went to jail. He should have probably gone to jail. If he was at home, he'd be in jail right now still.
Knowing that as well, he's probably sent or is responsible for sending people who never committed any crime to jail for something that they didn't do.
Like Kamala Harris, who will not listen to who won't listen to other evidence. Because they get a conviction and it's it.
That's all that matters.
That's insane to me. That's it. Like, that guy should, not have a pension. He should not have a job anymore. He's not a credible cop, an officer. How is that possible?
So kind of a parallel to that, I was reading this thing on doctors.
Yeah.
And a lot of doctors won't take these very risky, very high quality, high qualified, specialized doctors won't take a lot of these dangerous surgeries, possibly life-saving, life-changing surgeries because of malpractice, or if it doesn't work and they fail, let's just say it's like there's not a chance of them even facing any financial repercussions, they won't take it because it'll affect their record. And now, hey, they had 100 great surgeries, they have one bad one. It's like, it's a very similar thing to the lawyer. Like, a lot of people won't take a case unless they know they're going to win it, which is kind of scary and
it's super sketchy. I can't tell you how frustrating. We all we're this podcast is definitely like, understand that there's different types of there's good accountants, bad accountants. There's good cops, there's bad accountants.
Yeah.
Bad cops. And it's frustrating when you have so many layers of the legal force, like the legal team, like the authorities.
Yeah.
And they all, like, the prosecutors shouldn't, and the cops shouldn't be, like, they should be against each other, not...
Yes. He doesn't be that dog's bitch.
No, Appa is legitimately he's ready to go.
Yeah, we're doing the podcast at my place, and my dog is here.
Your dog is like a giant version of my cat.
He legitimately
punch across the room.
When you guys came in, he was like, "Who are these people? I'm scared." He hasn't seen them in months, and now he's like, "These guys are so fun. They play with me." His tongue's hanging out the side of his mouth, and he just wants to
big.
play.
Beat up on him.
He plays like a small dog, but he is 66 pounds of just dense meat.
And slobbery dense meat. Slobbery dense meat.
So slobbery.
Like, just, it gets it all over the ground.
I took him on a huge walk today knowing you guys were going to come here, and I thought I'd tucker him out. So I took him on this huge walk. Did real good. There to the park. I would give him treats when he's doing good. I get slobber all over my hands. We came back. I thought, okay, perfect. This dog is tuckered out. He went from absolutely terrified, like, who's this in my space, to, you guys are awesome. Like, just, I want to play. I want to play.
Yeah. He's a sweetheart. But so it was really frustrating to watch because.
Yeah.
And it's the Innocence Project. Like, Joe Rogan had 2 guys on from the Innocence Project. Mm-hmm. And it made him cry. And it almost makes you cry to think, it almost makes you cry, or makes you, cry because, like, you think about these poor freaking people who have been in jail for 30 to 35 years. And it's just insane. It's legitimately insane.
It's terrifying.
And this guy could have been a part of that.
You hope to
That's
never
what I'm saying,
be in that situation.
Because you know why it hits hard? Because it could be you. It could be any one of us.
Just right place, right time.
Yeah.
Like you happen to be in the area, something like that. Here's the one thing I've learned from watching 48 Hours and any of that.
Never talk to a cop.
Never talk.
Get a lawyer.
Never say anything. Plead the fifth and get a lawyer immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Lawyer up.
A good lawyer too, actually.
Yeah, and if they say
Or
they
competent
want
lawyer.
if they want the Miranda rights, they're like, hey, we're going to give you Miranda rights. We'll say, okay, yeah, I'll take my lawyer now. Never talk.
I will invoke the
Yes.
I plead the fifth.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There's so many amendments in the Constitution.
But yeah, but it was super interesting, and I think I honestly recommend it if you want a good.
Yeah, I love that it's.
Yeah, it's
just
only 40 minutes.
Yeah.
That's what I forgot about that.
No,
It's
no
okay.
worries.
We're gonna-
I'll cut you.
Yeah. I feel like it's a story that's been mentioned. Like, you hear about the guy who got off because he went to a baseball game and they happened to
you're
catch
right,
it on
yeah.
camera.
The best
I
part
was
is and one of the best parts to me is Larry David was in it. And
I
thought
know.
he was
I
hilarious.
did not expect
Yeah.
when they had the HBO producer or something like that on. Like, he's like, "Yeah, I got the call. I didn't expect this," and I was like, "There's no way Larry David's taking the time to do this." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm here."
Yeah.
Like, I'll
That's
talk
what
about
and
it.
he was. He's like,
It's so great
he's
that
like-
it's so great that he nailed the point that I am like the greatest
Exactly.
actor ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This huge actor, he nailed it.
And then the best line is he's like, yeah, I use that story sometimes when I'm on a date. And Lauren's like, he's 80. Like, who's he dating?
I know. You know something I thought that was so funny and just completely out of context? When he filmed the scene and they were done in the section, he was walking up, he gave it this. Nobody could give a fuck. They were all watching the game, but he was so polite. He's like, "Thank you guys for your time."
Yeah.
But everybody else was like, "I don't give a shit, dude. I'm trying to watch the Dodgers lose this game." You know, like
Yeah. That guy Bob Eisen that was in that show is Super Dave.
Oh, I know. Did you ever watch Super Dave?
I did.
Osborne,
The cartoon.
Oh,
Yeah, it was so
man.
good.
That was so good.
Okay, great. So this is St. Patrick's Day 2.0 for the ladies on the podcast.
Hardy.
For Pat Lynch.
Hey, Lynch.
What an awful combination you're going to try to talk to.
We're gonna figure
New
it out.
Glarus,
You know what I love about
J-Mo,
Pat?
and almond
There's
milk
no
bellies.
optimism. It's
No,
always like it's the worst
Yeah.
situation, the worst possibility.
You're going to do it. You're going to try to do a car bomb without
All
Guinness.
that came out, all that Peter brought out was a tall glass and a shot glass. And
We've already got J-Mo and Bailey, so you know this isn't going anywhere good.
we're gonna get a nice jug of
No,
water and a
no.
shot of
Almond
something.
milk Baileys.
No.
Almond milk
That's like-
liqueur.
Yeah.
This is not going to do that.
And we're gonna try with a deep enough beer, like a dark enough beer to replicate Guinness, because Pat Lynch doesn't think, we can use the Guinness tonight, because Pat Lynch couldn't have us over at his house. So let's see.
His fault, not mine.
Okay, so Pat,
What's going on at your house, Pat?
that's definitely not gonna be dark enough, is it? Let's try this one. We'll try the no coast pole.
That's what I have in here. Oh,
I don't think they make beers that dark.
No, I don't think so either, Pat. But you know what, Pat? You're gonna have to
Somebody.
suck it up and not be such a pain in the ass.
What is?
Wait, I swore! And we're 37 minutes ago.
Oh,
we've
we're
been
right.
It's the same beer, no?
No, it's a different beer.
It's the same beer.
I just
I mean,
keep giving
looks the
Pat
same.
shots of beer.
It looks the same.
Tastes the same. It's got to be the same.
Which one would be dark enough to not have you whine like a little girl?
I mean, this one's a pale ale, and that one's something else.
Yeah, so, okay, but that didn't answer the question, champ.
Neither are very dark, Peter. Neither
Okay,
dark.
but which one?
I guess the first one.
Let's go with the 2 women lager.
The Lager.
The lager? Okay,
All right.
so I'm gonna do this. You guys talk amongst yourselves. Chris, stop kissing the dog. This isn't,
It's most actually
He's trying to get me in the face, and I'm not allowing it.
don't let.
He's trying to horn in on my action, man.
That dog is 8 months old and 66 pounds. When I adopted him,
Listen, if you
He
sit
was
down, he's
the
going to
size
put
of my
pound
cat.
town on
he
your
was
back. Okay?
he was tiny,
It's true.
and he was supposed to get no bigger than 50 pounds. That dog is
lied to you,
getting
Joe.
so.
That's Tinder fraud right there.
Dude,
That's
that
Tinder
is
fraud.
100% Tinder fraud. That dog is. Oh man, yeah.
Did you hear about on Tinder? They have now you can do a background check. You
Oh
do-
really?
Yeah, you can.
Is it like an optional thing
Tinder?
for like?
Yeah,
Chris,
there's
there goes your Tinder game.
What
That's
Tinder game? I'm not on any of the Danish. I've never been on Tinder in my life.
Since the background checks are in,
Well,
Chris is
that's
out.
your issue.
That's where all the action is.
Apparently.
Yeah,
So what? You go half a glass of beer, right?
yeah, and then you do. Now are we doing? Are we trying to attempt an Irish car bomb?
Oh yeah.
Okay, just trying to get an idea here.
Why did
Whoa, let me ask you
Oh,
this.
I know.
A car bomb is just Guinness and J-Mo, isn't it?
I was
No,
about to
it's
say
Guinness, J-Mo, and I think
Yeah,
Bailey's.
because remember, you got to do it because you got to do it quick enough, or the Baileys will curd.
So
I was just J-Mo.
question.
No, there's a
question
sweetness to it. That's why I think the
on
Bailey's is in
Guinness.
there.
Oh, keep that up, bud.
Why'd you give me that shot of beer?
Question.
No, that's J-Mo.
J-Mo.
We should have let
I'm
him
really
drink it.
glad I
Yeah.
didn't drink that.
Um,
That would have been a
Go
real.
4 years up real quick.
Tastes like burning.
Is Guinness? What is?
That beer tastes like J-Mo.
What is? Do I fill this up all the way?
No,
Halfway,
almost
halfway.
all the way.
What is Guinness classified as? Like the type
Stout.
of beer?
Stout?
A stout. And what does that mean?
It's a dark
Dark
beer.
shit.
Just a dark beer, frothy at the top.
Yeah.
Okay.
Garbage.
You don't like Guinness at all, huh?
So like a
I
Bach
always
is like
like
a
yours
dark
much.
beer.
Yeah.
Lager's like an amberish color like this. This is a lager.
I will say Guinness in Ireland
Pilsner looks like
or
your pee.
just Europe in general tastes so much better than it does here. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know
that's
what
what
the
I've heard.
reason is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because they don't have to ship it.
It's
Yeah.
almost like chocolate. I
All
have
right,
to
boys.
assume it's
Let's
a,
do it.
it's-
This is going
it's
to be really nasty.
a-
But
yeah, this is going to be terrible. Hey,
Cheers.
happy St. Patrick's Day.
Patrick's Day, part 2.
Part 2, baby.
That almost came out. Oh,
That tastes so not good and weird and odd. There's so many flavors that don't mix
Yeah.
together.
no, not at all. The almond. The
That
Jameson,
almond malt.
and that
Fuck.
weird beer. And that almond Bailey's was just miserable.
All
Sorry.
I taste is almond.
Yeah.
All I
Yeah,
taste is
that
almond.
is. It is so sweet. It's such a juxtaposition on.
That's not
It
good.
worked
you're
okay with the
expecting.
Jameson. I'm going to be honest with you.
That's the J-Mo.
You know,
cap on
evidently
the,
Wisconsin. Well, that's what was in Wisconsin. They make car bombs with just J-Mo and Guinness. There's no Baileys involved.
I think there's a little bit of Bailey's
well,
on the top.
not in Wisconsin. They're
Well, Wisconsin's a bunch of crazy
yeah,
drunks.
no shit.
Oh, yeah, Chris. Good save on that one, bud.
Oh, good God. That's
Ooh, that was interesting.
let's not do that.
Yeah, that was.
What's that, Pat? You want one more?
One more? We got to take a picture of it. So
Another one.
somebody's going to have to take another
I'm sorry.
one.
Is DJ Khaled here? Did I hear someone say another one?
My name's not Devin, so we're good.
Yeah, it is. You're now Devin.
I mean, guys, we're getting close. I mean, we've been talking about COVID as a group in a podcast, and we're getting close to their state of Illinois opening up like completely.
Yeah, so they recently, 2 weeks ago, they opened 50%. No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, they opened everything up to the
Yeah.
50% level.
Yeah. So if we get to 70% of our elderly population being vaccinated, they can open up completely.
I won't lie. It is.
That's 12% away.
I'm trying to get my.
Oh, we got to
my
talk about
parents,
last Saturday too.
I'm
Go
trying
ahead.
to get my parents vaccinated.
Oh,
Parents got their second
It
shot
is
yesterday.
very
Nice.
difficult. Very difficult to get an appointment.
Katrina gets one next Wednesday.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You guys tried it all?
They got their second shot yesterday.
Oh, really? Wait, how did they go about doing it?
They
'Cause
called the doctor. The doctor. They went to the
Oh.
doctor.
maybe that's what I should do for my
Damn,
parents.
Joe, baby, you drinking that Coca-Cola? What's that all about?
Coca-Cola.
Oh
You got a big
no,
old-
I've had that in my fridge forever.
Don't be shaming
for
them for liking the
Reno.
Coca-Cola.
I'm not a big
No.
soda guy.
Nobody's shaming them. I
Not
just
a
never
big-
I haven't seen a 2-liter in a person's house in
I
a very
know,
long time.
right?
I must be
Reno was over and he had some tequila and he wanted some Coca-Cola.
That's
goddamn
We
it.
need
that-
the double
that's
co- we need the double tequila and Coke,
That is
baby.
100%.
That's
Yeah.
the best. That's the best drink you see ordered at a bar. And then,
Oh,
Can I
and
get
then
the, and the bartender looks at him like, "Are you fucking crazy?"
Sarah talks
You
about my
want me to be
fridge
fucking crazy?
Basically,
never having food and always having nothing but beers. And it's not that I'm drinking beer constantly. It's just that I have stuff ready for,
Parties.
a friend comes
Yeah,
over.
you just have
or-
a second fridge like I do.
You know what?
But
You
the
need
food
a
that
friend
I-
like Joe,
I
like who's
buy-
ready to party whenever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I had all the beers on the top
God, that is
shelf ready.
hitting right there, boys.
Oh yeah, that's sitting. That's
We're
sitting.
starting to get to the Bill Burr point. I got all those beers people brought to my house. So you're like, "Hey, you got any beer?" I got some shit someone brought over that I really don't want anymore.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about last Saturday. So last Saturday was an absolute ball. We had a great time on the podcast. I love that podcast. But because we were so ready to go, and
Oh.
it was in the air.
Yep.
It was in the air last night. But we get out for the bars.
Oh,
We-
this
no,
is a
we
fucking
go-
treat.
We go out to Kuma's Corner for some burgers. We literally had to go to them and be like, "Hey, we're in the corner. I know you guys don't like us, but if you could serve
Can you
us."
please give us some food,
Yeah,
please?
we're also freezing and hungry.
Yeah.
And then like the boys are ready to go. So Katrina drops us off at the store, and because we want to go play Papa Shot, thinking it's 10 o'clock, we're still good. There's no one going to be out at the store at 10 o'clock yet.
there's no chance.
Nobody's going to be at the store. There's a little bit of a line to get into the store.
I think people are ready to go.
We get into the store, no mask. Nobody's got a mask but us three. And there's chicks on tables, people licking faces, spitting in each other's mouths.
Guys, you want to go there tonight?
Listen, we walk in and I see a sign that says, if you're in this bar, you must be seated at a table.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, Pat, check this out.
Yeah, I saw
it.
it.
Pat, check this out. This isn't happening. He's like, read the signs. Like, yeah, this is not.
So we're like, okay, let's just go.
As you see, like, next to it, you can't see the person on the fucking dancing.
It's just dancing on the table. So we go down to play Papa Shop.
Yeah.
And me and Chris and Pat having a good time.
Classic.
Oh, phenomenal. Having a good time. Out of nowhere, this individual is literally on top of me. And I'm like, oh, sweet.
Breathe Peter's neck like,
yeah, Pierce.
COVID.
Pierce like, okay, I'm done with this shit.
Breathe on Peter's neck.
I literally said, that's it, I'm out.
So Pat puts $1 in for me and I start playing Papa Shop. And I'm getting close to Peter's score that he set. And I'm like, I'm feeling it. I'm like, I'm going to do this. All of a sudden,
10 seconds left, you choked it, Chris.
Choked it. All you feel is the COVIDness around you. You know? I finish. I'm like, crap, I choked. What the fuck? I turn around. That same girl's behind.
No, it was two different girls.
Oh, it's two different girls. There's two different girls. And like, how does this work? And then I'm like, you put your $1 in there, press the button, and I booked it as fast as I could to get away.
No one had mask on.
Yeah.
Guys, that was not the answer.
That
was not the answer they wanted from Chris.
Yeah, that was not the answer they were looking for.
I have another green bean-esque story.
Oh, baby boy. Wait,
hold on.
We got two more green bean stories we want.
Hold on.
Yeah.
There's one for Glass.
Maybe
We'll save the one for Glass Gods for Pat to tell because that one's great.
Oh, yeah, you got to tell that. Well, so we literally, me and Kristen, we regroup. We're not sure where to handle. We don't know what to do.
Yep.
So we regroup at the beginning of the bar where there is a literally mosh pit and dancing.
Yeah.
Mosh pit and dancing.
We had to go through a mosh pit and dancing to get through.
And then we're sitting in the mosh pit and we're like, guys, we gotta go. So we literally leave the bar, walk down to Glass Gods, which is, ran by our buddy.
Yep.
We get in there, it's actually a little bit more orderly. Like, we have our own table.
Everybody's at a table. Everybody's at a table and there's
everybody's
relatively spread apart.
Safely at their tables. So Pat goes, so me and Pat are sitting there having a drink, a bunch of drunkies, like to our right. Nobody's really talking to us. And then this really, really, really drunk girl comes up to us. And Chris gets up and leaves.
Yeah,
right
go
before
to watch
he got the
Chris saw it coming.
I saw it too. She looked at me, I don't know like this. I was like,
yeah, every time you made eye contact, you were like, whoa, there's the TV, all right.
Hey, there's a wall. And we're not trying to be rude. Like, it's just...
You just don't want to invite anybody over.
No, but there is that thing like, if I make eye contact, I know it's going to it's going to open the door for them to want to interact.
Yeah, well...
And I don't want to set that up.
Well, they walked over, nonetheless.
Yes, she definitely walked over. Me and Pat both looked at each other like, damn.
Oh, no. And then, because Chris had left, so I was in the middle. I had some buffer between Chris and Peter.
What I love is,
Chris left.
Having not been there, the picture being painted is, Chris saw this coming and goes,
I'm going to the bathroom.
Asteroid incoming. I'm going to go abort and just like
F these dudes.
Good dad.
And she walks over and she's like, I can't understand a word she's saying. To this day, I can't.
And we're not even.
Can you paint a picture? What time of night is this?
It's like 11:30.
It has to be about like 11:30 midnight.
11:30.
Yeah.
So at this point,
she walks over and it sounds like something like, "Do you want to run the train on us?"
Oh my god!
I'm sure that's not what it was.
But so we don't see anything. Me and Pat are just like.
They don't say anything.
So she gets the picture, so she walks away. Like 5 minutes after she walks away, Pat looks at me and I look at him and we're like, did she say, do you want to run the train?
Pat, I get back. Pat's, you literally leave me in the trenches taking hand grenades. I'm like, what happened? That girl came over. Thank God she didn't sit in your seat. She sat in the seat over there. Thank God. But she's like, she asked if me and Pierre wanted to ride the train on her.
Do you see the price?
Oh yeah, that's what I was about to show you.
So we're trying to get an Uber. We got same price.
Get down to
50-50.
She might be.
But yeah, Joe. So save your green bean. Repeat green bean story.
I will.
That chick left. Thank God.
Yeah. Then we had.
No, she went up front. Thank God.
Yeah.
And then
we had some other guys show up and start talking to us. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure if it's the mask or what. But like, no, we had more people approach us in the last Saturday than we did in 3 years before that.
Yeah, for sure.
All time.
But yeah, listen, just wear your mask at a bar. Like, if you're in the bar, just wear the mask. If you're not drinking, like, how hard is that? But if not, well, forget it.
I got $21.
You need XL.
Yeah, that's XL. $21 for an XL.
I got like 25, I think.
Get it, boys.
I'm requesting it too, just in case.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so I mean, let's be honest. I loved it though. I'm not gonna lie. A little bit of me was like at the store. And I was like, ooh,
No,
getting that.
I wanted none of that. I wanted none of those.
I didn't want to be
None of
in
those
it.
people.
I wanted my mask on, watching, thinking like
I
it was
was
like normal.
I was like, you know what? I like this whole entire situation, but I want you to be away from me.
Oh Jesus. 19 minutes right now. Lyft and Ubers, I get it. Nobody wants to do it. It's insane.
Reservation is
Yeah, be
gonna
ready for pickup
minutes.
around 7:54.
So it's kidding.
Oh yeah, we might need to figure that out. But yeah, hey, listen,
Keep mine
just let's all be careful. We're so close to this being over. I know there's a third wave in Europe right now, which is kind of scary.
Hey.
And Appa is making his interest to the.
Closest driver finish a ride in River North. We'll be here in 20 minutes.
Yikes.
Good Lord.
There's no chance.
Uber's 31.
Let's get off this as you guys get your Uber shit together, and Appa wants to be a part of the podcast.
Yeah.
Guys, enjoyed the NCAA tournament. I want to thank again the seven fans who joined our tournament and are looking for a prize pack.
I'm just trying to finish last, baby. Just trying to finish last.
Yeah. Connor, I think it was in first. I'm not sure if he still is, but hey, good on you, Connor. I hope you win. I really want to send somebody.
The short bunch group of this.
Oh, I know we're all garbage, but I really want to send. I want to send somebody a prize pack so bad. So
what's included in the prize pack?
It's going to be a T-shirt. It's going to be a bunch of stickers that you can put anywhere,
and a signed headshot from the Joe C.
Oh,
I was
wait!
Really
do we need to get a? Do we need to get?
Oh, what about the Joe
really
C lock of the century?
Let's get one
of the
for
week.
Sunday. Let's get first. Can you pick me one game?
Joe,
for
pick
Sunday?
VCU because go pick VCU.
You have.
Let's do the Illinois
Yes,
Loyola
yes.
game in
We're
Illinois.
What do you got for Illinois? Loyola, Joe. Do you take the points, or are you taking just straight up
I have a
Illinois?
question about this one.
Well, we do have time for that.
We got 20 minutes.
They said that you can't bet on Illinois teams in Illinois. Is that correct?
Okay,
I
well,
have
don't know
not
that.
heard that.
No.
We'll have to research that.
I've bet on Illinois. I think I bet on the Bulls.
You bet on the Bears and stuff, right?
Yeah, I bet on the Bulls all the
So,
time. That's
I-
like my go-to.
I was
and DePaul. I bet on DePaul all the
I
time.
was reading something like you can't, like maybe it's certain things, like they said like you can't bet like on certain things on Illinois teams if you live in Illinois.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's true or not.
No.
You know what? For next week on the podcast, we'll do a little research and see if that's an actual
We'll
thing.
get you an
I
answer.
can't-
This is what News Radio 720 told me in the morning when I was turning the computer off. All right,
Wow.
or 780.
Oh, you like Bob Surratt in the morning, or you just listen to it?
I listen to whatever news radio is on the way.
780.
Oh, 780. Okay, yeah. Pat or Joe,
for the
do you
whole
got a
20
lock
minutes
of the
playback.
century of the week for the
Lock of
NCAA
the
tournament
century of the week for Sunday.
for Sunday?
Joe pick Gonzaga to beat number 16
Tourney
seed.
edition.
That's tonight, actually. I think.
Yeah, it is.
So we got
If
these
they lose, that's going to really break my
These
heart.
are the choices. Illinois versus Loyola.
Yep.
Illinois is 1. Loyola's 8. Ranked. I'm assuming that's ranked.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Baylor versus Wisconsin. West Virginia versus Syracuse. Arkansas versus Texas Tech. Houston versus Rutgers.
Red
Florida versus, is that Colgate? Oral?
No,
No.
it's Oral Roberts.
Oh, Rob.
When's the Tejas game?
I just saw
That's
Oral,
tonight.
so I just assumed Colgate.
Go Abilene Christian, baby.
Villanova, North Texas, and Oklahoma versus Oregon. All right. I'm going to, as an individual who's done
No research.
Zero
little
research.
to no research,
But you better bet this.
what is
If
the
you're a true fan.
what is the tightest? I mean, just by rankings, I can guess what would be the tightest game, hardest to
I would
decide.
assume that Texas Tech versus Arkansas. That would be the tightest game, I would say.
Pepsi or Peter.
Okay, so I want to go. I want to.
That's Phil, that shot.
I want to
Joe, you can't go against Sister Jean and the Loyola Ramblers.
Oh, God.
I know. Well, I'm going to take it a step farther.
Let's go, Joe.
I want to go for the tightest game. What do you guys think is going to be the hardest game to make a decision on?
Syracuse
Bet against
versus.
Sister
I
Jean.
either think it's going to be that Arkansas Texas Tech game or Syracuse versus.
Sorry, I'm looking here. Syracuse versus West Virginia.
Yes.
Okay, I was going to go West Virginia, but I just realized they're number 3. So
Coal
I feel
miners.
like that would be. I feel like that
They're
would
the
be.
Mountaineers, sir.
So we got
It's a mountain.
Syracuse, West Virginia, or
Texas Tech, the Red Raiders,
versus Arkansas.
the Razorbacks.
Oh, good for Justin.
I'm gonna go with
Hit me.
I want to say what I think is going to win, but
do it, baby. Don't be scared.
I'm not happy with it because I feel like
cat's
it's the
got the
easy
tongue over
choice.
there.
Pick the Villanova
Easy,
Wildcats,
baby.
North Texas.
I think West Virginia is going to win.
All right, we're going with West
That's
Virginia.
a joke. I need it.
But it's like 3
the
versus
Joe C. Lock of the century of the week. Tourney edition.
I like it. All right, boys.
Don't look at my bracket. I didn't give it any thought.
Joe, none of us give it a thought.
Listen, I hope you bet the house.
I'm losing a
Put the
Pepsi
mortgage
Cat
on it
for
right
God's
now.
sake.
And Pat Lynch. First of all, I want to say, Pat Lynch, you suck.
Thank
Boo.
Thank you.
Joe, thank you for having us over tonight.
Oh, of course. Anytime.
I think everybody's feeling that carball.
We'll be back to our regularly scheduled location next week.
Yep. Also, again, hey, have a great week. Enjoy the March Madness. The weather is warming up. Be safe.
God,
we're getting close.
today.
I know.
It was so nice.
We're getting close to the end of this BS pandemic. Just mask up as long as you can. And have a great week.
And someone get Joe Biden an escalator for the Air Force One.
Yeah.
You guys saw that?
Yeah, Joe Biden. That's not good. Not good. And also, he called Kamala Harris the president this week. We're not going to talk about this. I'm not going to talk about this.
I felt like
she's gonna ask me things and I'll tell her.
I felt like him walking up those stairs. I legit thought, I was like, is this sped up? Like, is this sped up because no, that's how he decided to run up. He like a quick jog up the stairs, and it was.
You know what?
So
though? The best part of it is he didn't face him. He just got up.
No, which was great. Dust himself off
like
that's
a
the way to
beat,
handle
like
it.
a G, baby.
Like
Little
a
dust
champ.
himself off.
Oh yeah.
I ain't going nowhere, bitches.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.